everybody, and welcome back to Uncovering Sexual Health. Today we're going to be talking all about sexual orientation and gender identity. So come along with me and let's get learning. Sexual orientation and gender identity are huge, complex topics that we won't be able to get into much detail today in this video that's approximately 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is add a list of links that you can check out at the end of this video that share information about facts about sexual orientation and gender identity. Okay, we're going to start with sexual orientation. So what is sexual orientation? Well, basically, what it boils down to is thinking about who we are attracted to, whether it's romantically, emotionally, physically, or sexually. That attraction piece is a huge part of sexual orientation. Some people may know as early as like 2 or 3 years old who they are attracted to. So somebody might identify as a girl and know that they're really strongly sexually attracted to other girls. And it doesn't mean at this young age they're going to be sexually interested in them, but they know that they like them. Some people, it might take kind of a lifetime to figure this out, just depending on their experiences and testing out things that they kind of like, people that they think they're interested in. And it might just take a little bit of exploring to figure out who they're really attracted to. And some people aren't sexually attracted to anybody at all, but they could still be in relationships because they have an emotional connection or a different type of connection. Because remember, relationships are all different, and it could be based on different types of attraction or different types of connections. There are a lot of different labels to identify sexual orientation. I'm not going to get into all of them, but some of them would be, so heterosexual, that would be somebody of one gender being attracted to somebody of a different gender. Homosexual is somebody of one gender being attracted to the person of a similar gender. So oftentimes, if a man is attracted to a man, we call this gay. And if a woman is attracted to a woman, those people might use the term gay or lesbian. There's also bisexual, where a person of a gender is attracted to similar genders and different genders. There's also the term asexual, where a person isn't sexually attracted to anybody. And there's also different types of sexual orientations where people are attracted to other people, not necessarily based on gender at all, but more of a emotional connection or a different level of a connection. So there's a lot of different identities out there, and as I said, I'll link some resources so that you can explore those further. Another thing I wanted to share about sexual orientation is that it can change over a lifetime, and this might be more around the connection that you feel with another person, or it could be because a person is exploring and not quite finding the right fit. And as they get older and more mature and have more experiences, they realize who they're really attracted to. So to sum up sexual orientation, it's just a part of who we are. It's not a choice. There's lots of different labels. People might know as early as 2 or 3 years old who they're really attracted to. Some people it might take a lifetime to figure that out. Other people aren't sexually attracted to people at all, and sexual orientation can change over a lifetime. So that's that for sexual orientation. Let's flip it over to gender identity. So when we're thinking about gender identity, I'm going to just break it down to 3 sections: sex, gender, and gender identity. So when I'm talking about sex, I'm talking about what the doctor calls you. So when a woman has a baby and the baby comes out, depending on what those genitals look like on that baby, the baby will be called male or female. And this sometimes is referred to sex assigned at birth. So if a baby has penis and testicles, they'll call it a boy. And if a baby has a vulva, vagina, they'll call it a girl. Some babies will be intersex, so their genitals don't look male and they don't really look female, but they're just kind of a combination of the two, like no real distinct features. And the term intersex describes these people. And it actually happens about 1 to 2 people out of 100. Gender is a more complex topic to talk about because it's really about the social values that we put on different gender roles and cultural expectations that some people have on different genders, of expectations such as the jobs they do, how they dress, the way they look, kind of those expectations about how we should look or act because of our sex. Gender identity is who we feel we are deep inside. So sexual orientation is who we're attracted to. Gender identity is who we are. And again, like sexual orientation, this can happen as early as 2 or 3 years old, where we have kind of that feeling of we know that we feel right in our bodies, or we know that we don't really feel like what our sex assigned at birth was. So gender identity is who we feel we are and how we want to express ourselves as people. This could be through clothing, personal appearances such as hairdos, makeup, and different behaviors that we might present with. So when we're thinking about gender identity, there's a lot of different labels that go along with gender identity as well. And one thing I just wanted to share, a couple of terms. So if a person is born and how they feel inside matches the sex they were assigned at birth, we call this cisgender. So say a baby is born with a vulva and vagina and feels like a girl, then they would be considered cisgender. However, if a baby was born and had vulva and a vagina, but that person felt like a boy, that's what we would call transgender. So their gender doesn't match what their sex is assigned at birth. So to sum up gender identity, some people have really strong feelings of who they are by the age of about 2 or 3. Some people might take a little bit longer to kind of figure out who they are and how they feel inside, especially depending on their different lived experiences. Gender identity is how we feel inside, so who we feel that we are. It could match the sex we're assigned at birth, but it could not. And the biggest thing about sexual orientation and gender identity is just being respectful to all people. Everyone has their own different lived experiences, so we need to value each and every one for who they are. These things aren't, like sexual orientation and gender identity aren't a choice. It's just kind of biological deep within who we are. And there's honestly been a lot of research that backs up this information. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And thank you for watching, and always stay safe and sex positive.